Another U.S. city is being rocked by water contamination, this time due to fracking. A study from Stanford University shows fracking and other oil and gas operations have contaminated the groundwater in Pavillion, Wyoming. These findings raise concerns about possible water pollution in other heavily fracked communities on the West Coast. Here's RT's Ashlee Banks.
Pavillion, Wyoming, a city that has been a flashpoint in the national debate over the potential impact of fracking on drinking water, is one of the first cities to discover contamination within its water source. According to scientists at Stanford University, as early as the 1990s, when oil and gas development was booming in the area, residents began complaining of tainted drinking water. And in 2011, the EPA released a draft study indicating oil and gas contaminated the town's water. However, after criticism from the fracking industry and Wyoming politicians, the EPA shut down its investigation in 2013, turning over its findings to state regulators. The state then published a study saying so far it has found no proof of contamination. However, in 2016, Stanford University researchers conducted a study finding that the water in Pavillion, Wyoming has been contaminated. The study, written by Dominic DeGilo and Professor of Earth and Sciences Robert Jackson, finds chemicals in Pavillion's water is related to substances that companies used in local fracking operations. Companies fracked into underground sources of drinking water, thus contaminating it. Faulty cement barriers placed around the steel casing inside an oil or gas well create the potential for fracking chemicals to seep underground. And tests of groundwater have shown dangerous concentrations of diesel-related compounds such as benzene. So what does this mean? Well, the study shows fracking practices in Pavillion have led to contaminated water. More importantly, it could have an impact on other communities that participate in fracking. Last June, the EPA issued a draft stating that fracking has not had systemic widespread effects on drinking water. However, since last fall, the agency's own panel of independent scientific advisors has disputed that conclusion, recommending the EPA discuss in greater detail its investigations into water contamination in Pavillion and other communities. DeGilo and Jackson are recommending further monitoring of groundwater in Pavillion. They are also calling for regulations governing fracking at shallow depths and more extensive cement work on production casings in order to keep the residents of Pavillion and cities across the West Coast out of harm's way. In Washington, Ashlee Banks, RT.